Hey guys, my name is Dr. Sharnael Wolverton Sehon with Swiftfire International, and today I have a quick subject to talk to you about regarding sex, intimacy, and raising our world. How is sex related to raising your world? Well, this is an interesting topic, and I'm sure that the word sex got your attention this Wednesday. I have been doing a lot of studying, and I'm actually going to post a link up here for you to be able to look at it. But they have been looking into autopsies of elderly women and finding that basically anyone that these women have ever been with intimately, they're finding the remnants and the live cells of sperm in the brain. And yeah, so we have this thing that happens when we have an exchange of DNA, and those things can happen for different reasons. Pregnancy, even if you had a miscarriage or even an abortion, if there has been a donor transplant or a blood infusion, and also with twins, like twins who are both together in the womb, there's that exchange of DNA as well, and also with sex. And so why am I even talking about this? What's the big deal? I can tell you that about 8 years ago, I was in Montana and I was getting some lab work done, and they had a big sign on the wall that basically talked about how you could go in there if you had any kind of suspicion that your partner was cheating on you, that you can actually go in there and have your blood tested compared to the DNA of who you thought maybe they may be sleeping with, and they could check what was going on in your blood versus what was going on with whoever else, and they can find out if there was a match. They could actually detect by genetics, by DNA, what was actually going on. Because what happens as a woman is, if you have a pregnancy or when you have a pregnancy, you still carry the DNA of your baby forever. When you have a sexual experience and there's an exchange, or when you have a blood transfusion or any kind of organ transplant, there is a DNA exchange, and the woman will carry this for life. And what you have to understand is that sperm is living. It has its own life, and so is DNA of our children. So I myself, I've had 6 miscarriages, unfortunately, and then I also have 3 children that I've personally carried. Because of that, I can have an ability, or an innate ability, just like any of you, to be able to sense like if something's going on with any of them, because I actually am carrying them within me, literally. Same thing if you have sexual partners, or a partner preferably. There are ramifications of that, because you can actually tune in to what's going on with them physically, because you are still carrying them physically. So there are some ramifications of all of this stuff, blood transfusions, whatever. You probably heard the stories of people who, got like maybe a new organ, a new kidney, and all of a sudden they had like this really strong need to listen to the Beatles and eat French fries all day or whatever, and really they come to find out that the person who they got the organ from, the kidney from, actually ate French fries every day and listened to the Beatles or whatever, because there is memory to life, there's memory to DNA, there's memory to organs, there's memory in the blood. Same thing with blood transfusions. So what does all this mean? First of all, be very careful about who you are connecting with, because obviously that can lead to a little bit of confusion. Maybe you're feeling down or angry or whatever feelings are going on. because of those connections that you're still carrying within you, and those people that you're carrying, if they're alive, they could be going through whatever, and you're feeling it. You guys have probably heard about when they took and split a cell, and they put it across on a spaceship all the way to the moon, and they started doing things to one half of that cell over here on Earth, and they were watching what would happen to that cell all the way in the moon. And there's entanglement, there's connections, there are things that are real that happen with that entanglement. So all of this is huge entanglement. All of this can bring confusion or clarity to whatever the situation. And that's why having one partner is super important too, because obviously when you're with that one partner, and if that was your partner from the beginning of life and carried on, you know, biblically or just morally or however you want to say it, it has been very much encouraged for us to just have one spouse, one partner. And I'm sure that the ramifications were in mind when all of those were set out for our clarity, for our stability, to be able to stay and to keep that. So, but what does it mean on a conscious level? We can go even further here, because on a different level altogether, as you are going throughout your day and you are maybe working inside to deal with some things, and to become a better person, to raise your frequency, to be a better conscious, to make a better conscious effort, and like eating well, or breaking some addictions, or breaking some patterns, or doing whatever it is that you're shooting for to do. And when you're doing that, you're not just doing that for yourself anymore. You're doing that for every single person that you're carrying. All the DNA that you're carrying is also in that ride with you. Isn't that something? So be thinking about that as you're, setting out to make some new changes and some new choices, and to change that timeline for yourself, realizing that you are also changing the timeline for other people too. That if it feels hard, Robert Tennyson Stevens would always talk about, if it feels difficult to make that shift, it's because you're here to raise many, and that you are doing it for many before, all around you, but technically and scientifically also within you. So you're not just making new changes because you're going to be a new leader and people can look to you and go like, oh, wow, she did it, I can do it. Or he did it, now he could teach me to do it. Or now, because I'm so inspired by this person, that, I can do it too. But on a deeper level, on a science level, on a conscious, not just a conscious level, but on a physical level, you are literally actively changing yourself, and at the same time, simultaneously changing the people that you carry within you. Meaning all of your children, all of the people that you've been with, if you've been with more than one, and So, and if you've had a transplant, I guess you won't change the person that you got the transplant from unless they're still living, but maybe. Same with blood. So there are things that we need to be more aware of, and there's things that are opening up more and more to us as far as science and spirit connecting. And I just want to encourage you guys that when you're out there making these choices, first of all, be very careful about intimacy and any of those things that we talked about. But also, when things may seem whatever difficult, just have that mindset that you can do this, and that you are called, and that if it's in you for the idea for it to happen, then you just got to remember God and you is also in you. He has that DNA within you. You are a born again creation, and we can be born and born and born and born and born as we are awake and awake and awake and awake and awake to remembering God within us. See, sin is not what people have made it to be. Sin, by definition, is just missing the mark. And when when we sin, it's not just about the 10 commandments. It's about not remembering that God's within us. It's not doing everything that God would do. And so as we can remember, meaning remember, remind the heart right here, get in union again with God in us, the more that we can concentrate and remember that, oh my gosh, we have every power. We have access to every power of what and who God is. And we can do all of those things. And as we do those things, and as we remember, that's how we're staying in the staying power of all the things that God is. So I hope this is making sense. Because the only time that we're actually, quote, in sin is when we miss the mark of remembering that God is truly, fully in us. And the kingdom of God is within. The kingdom of God is within. So listen to that voice within you. Do the things. Follow that GPS, that God internal system right here within us. And you'll be on the right track. So I'm going to send you that link here. And I hope that you guys got something out of this. Let me know if you have any questions. And definitely share and tag some people. All right? Talk to you soon. Bye.